This is a training session to set up HEE tutors and trainees. You'll be given a login for your centre administrator. This will be sent via email. If you haven't received it, please do check your junk file, because quite often through the NHS, the emails, because they're coming from noreply@vqmanager.co.uk, quite often appear in your junk. So please check there if you're expecting one. To create the users, you go to the Users tab. And then you go to New User. If you create the tutor first and then the trainee, that will save you backtracking. A pop-up will appear and it will ask you to create a username and password. The username generally is an email address, but it can be anything you like for the username. So I'll just use an email address. And then the password, put in there, again, can be anything you like in that respect. What you're going to be doing is you're going to be sending an email by ticking this box here to this particular user with their username and password so that they will be able to log on the very first time. The first one is always ticked, which is the forced password change, which means that the first time that they log in, they will be asked to change their password. So make sure you click the second one so they get an email notification. The person that you're uploading will have 7 days to follow a link on the email, which will allow them to access the ePortfolio. So we're going to add a qualified tutor by ticking the first one. In your organisation, you'll never need to use the trainee box. All of your tutors are qualified, in which case you just tick the first box. Please then scroll down, and everywhere where you see a red star, please enter the details there. It's those two, and then the email address and a telephone number in that area there as well. Scroll down a little bit further and then you come to this section which is called the Pre-Reg Tutor Qualification Assignments. If you don't select one of these boxes, and in most cases you will be looking at the 2017 version of the performance standards, then the tutor will not be able to see any of the evidence that's uploaded by the trainee. So this is really important. You're saying that this particular tutor needs to see this qualification, and that's why there's a tick in the box at the end there. And then you would just save the details in respect of this particular one. That user is now in this list here, and if you want to be able to see that particular user, you need to be able to go to the bottom, refresh this list, and then Carrie will then appear in that particular list that you've created. So that's creating the tutor. Next, you want to create the trainee. So you just do exactly the same thing. Click on the New User tab and then pop the details for a username and password in this area here. And then enter a password to this particular area here. Again, keep the forced password change because we want the trainee to change their name, their password, apologies. And then tick the one to say that you would like them to receive an email with their username and password on so that they can log in. This time, this is your trainee, so you select the one that says trainee. And then the page opens up underneath. You've got the same first name here and surname here. You can enter an email address into this area here. And a telephone number if you need to. And then when you scroll down a little bit further, the page looks slightly different to what it looked like as a tutor. You've got this area here which is called the qualification assignments. For any new learners, please ignore the 2015 and add the 2017. What you need to do is you need to tick to assign the qualification. You need to click within the date area here to change the date, perhaps backdate it to when they started the qualification. And again, if you need to advance it to maybe next year, if they're finishing around June. You can then make sure that you select the day. You can then select an end date for the performance standards they're doing. So start date and end date. And you must tick this box here, assign default units. What that is doing is it's giving them all of the 76 performance standards. And without ticking that box there, they will not be able to upload any evidence against the performance standards. They will not be able to see them. So it's really important that you also tick that box on the end there, assign default units. Please do not complete the working time area. It's not relevant to the qualifications that you're doing, and it adds a different dimension to the ePortfolio if you enter the details in the working time. So please don't do that. You then come down to the list of tutors that are assigned to this particular centre, and then you would find the name of the tutor, maybe it's one that you've just uploaded, for the person that is going to be looking after this trainee. And then down to the bottom of the page and then press save. And now both your tutor and your trainee have been added to the system. They've both been linked together. They've both been sent an email which will let them know their username and password, and they can get started straight away. So that's your job complete as Centre Administrator.